Hey guys, it's Claire Aiken, the Fiddle Leaf Fig Girl, and thank you so much to everybody that submitted their questions. Today, I'm going to do a video about answering your top Fiddle Leaf Fig questions. And so the first question we got on Instagram was from Christy, and Christy asked, how do I make a Fiddle Leaf Fig branch? Now, a lot of people don't know this, but you can actually get your Fiddle Leaf Fig to grow in the shape that you want it to be. And so you can actually make it branch new branches by doing a technique called notching. And what you want to do is cut about 1/4 of an inch with very, very sharp pruning shears or scissors. We actually sell these on our shop, and these are super sharp stainless steel scissors. So what you want to do is you take one side of them and you just notch into your plant about 1/4 of an inch, and that tells your plant to start growing a branch in that location. So you could do a couple different notches on your tree, and I would say probably about 50-50 chance they'll grow a new branch in that location. So maybe if you want to do, 2 or 3 new branches, you would do, 4 to 6 notches and see where it gets you. And so that's a really, really fun technique to try to get your Fiddle Leaf Fig to grow into the shape that you want it to grow. Okay, so the second question is it normal for Fiddle Leaf Figs to get brown spots and for the leaves to dry up? And this is actually kind of a cool question. I'm glad that you asked this, because the answer is yes. It is normal for plants to dry up and lose their leaves. What I would say is it's not normal on the newer growth of your plant. It is more normal on the older growth or the lower leaves. So if you're having your lower leaves on your plant kind of get brown spots, dry up, fall off, that's totally normal. It's a sign of healthy growth. In the wild, plants are shedding their leaves all the time. But if you're having your newer growth having brown spots, that could be a sign of root rot. And so that's something that you're going to want to diagnose and treat to keep it from spreading and killing your plant. All right, so our third question comes from Christina, and she asks, how do you revive a Fiddle Leaf Fig tree if it doesn't have any leaves left? And this is actually, we have a whole video on how to revive a dying Fiddle Leaf Fig, and it's actually pretty easy to do. What I recommend doing is giving it a good thorough watering, doing a good fertilizing, so using Fiddle Leaf Fig plant food to fertilize your plant, and then putting it outside if you can. So depending on where you live and the climate and the sunlight, Fiddle Leaf Figs really like a lot of sun. And so if you have a dying plant, what you could do is try to notch a couple of notches on the stem, make sure it's fertilized, make sure it has a lot of light, and make sure it's well watered, and just put it outside and then ignore it for a couple of weeks, and pretty soon some new leaves will start coming in for you. So question number 4 is, my Fiddle Leaf Fig looks leggy, what should I do? So a leggy plant, that's a term used when your plant is basically growing too much stem and not enough leaves. And this typically happens when there's a phosphorus deficiency or there's not enough light. So the number one thing I would do is correct the light. Make sure your Fiddle Leaf Fig is in the sunniest spot possible in your house, and that it's getting as much sunlight as you can give it. This will give it enough nutrients to grow a lot of leaves. If plants aren't getting enough light or enough nutrients, they can get very leggy, and they basically have too wide of a space between the branches or the leaves of the plant, and it just doesn't give as good of a look as we want. And so more light, more fertilizer, try our Fiddle Leaf Fig plant food for that. All right, so the last question for today's Q&A is it okay to remove damaged leaves from my plant? So a lot of people get rescue plants or plants that are in bad condition, and they want to kind of, improve the look of the plant. And so what I would do there is totally okay to remove the leaves of your plant. One of the things I'll recommend is don't remove too many at once. So I would say 10 to 15% of the leaves is the max that you would want to remove at any one time. And this really protects your plant, because they still need the leaves to do photosynthesis, and even damaged leaves can absorb oxygen and sunlight and do photosynthesis. And so you don't want to remove too many. It can shock your plant. So I would say, maybe remove the worst, 3 to 5 leaves, and just do that maybe once every couple of weeks until all of the damaged leaves are removed. So I hope this video was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Submit your questions on Instagram and subscribe to our channel if you want to get more of your questions answered for your Fiddle Leaf Fig. Thanks for watching. Bye.